Welcome to the Holistic Equine Academy of Lymphedema. I'm Teresa Mueller, and I apologize if the live stream didn't quite work. So I'm going to record this and post it on Facebook. I've got 16 slides, so we'll go through this relatively quickly. It's really very simple. How do you identify invisible lymphatic congestion in a nanosecond? All you have to do is one thing: look. So how did I discover how to identify lymphatic congestion in a nanosecond? I attended a agricultural conference, and Dr. Tom Dykstra is an entomologist, and he studied insects. And he said the fly is Mother Nature's way of cleaning house. They're scavengers, and they consume rotting organic matter, including manure. They have very simple brains and a very simple digestive system. And they use the antenna. If you can see this little hairs coming on the side, they can detect odors from long distances. So think about when you have a barbecue. You have burgers, hot dogs, chicken, whatever you have on there, any kind of meat, flesh. Well, not only does the barbecue smell good, but I don't know about the smell, but they can detect the flesh of being cooked. That's what they're attracted to. So think about when you sit at the back of your yard or on the deck, whatever, and you bring out the food. All of a sudden, all these flies came from everywhere. So where did they just come from? Because they can detect it from long distances. And notice if they're more attracted to the meat plate than they are anything else. I am sure they are. So what do the flies do? Well, they play a very important role in the environment. First of all, it's food source for other animals, and the horse flies are very hairy, and you know they're big, and they bite, and they pollinate more plants than bees. But like I said, they clean up a lot of organic matter. So what do the flies do? Here's something you really need to know. And this was an eye opener for me. They regurgitate their stomach contents onto food. In other words, they have stomach acids and they regurgitate it onto the food that they're eating. So that acid now can break down that organic matter and they can suck it through like a straw into their mouth. So when you shoo fly away, you say get away, you are possibly eating fly stomach contents, bacteria, and even possibly fly poop. That's why sometimes people will come down with cramps, diarrhea, and they're very prone, obviously, to causing a lot of diseases. Flies are attracted to rotten organic matter, and horses with CPL, like Bella, provide them a rich source. This is all you can eat buffet for nothing. And it's the females that bite for blood and reproduction, and their feet carry bacteria, and they lay their eggs in congested legs. So if you look over here on the bottom here, you'll see all these white things. Those are the maggots that we dug out, or say the owner dug out. And they transmit disease, and it's very itchy, and it drives the horses crazy because they're constantly stomping. So horses, draft horses or horses that have got cellulitis, this is a real problem here because that's what they're attracted to. It's congested lymph. It's a free for all. It's all you can eat buffet. Poor digestion aids in lymphatic congestion. So the majority of the lymph comes from the small intestine and the liver. You need to have proper enzymes, probiotics, and micronutrients because if they're not digesting the food, they're not getting the food efficiency. So what doesn't get digested, a lot of times they have leaky guts, just like humans do. So leaky gut syndrome means undigested food gets into the blood system, and flies just love that stuff. So it is important for every owner to make sure that their digestive system is up and working with proper probiotics. is the equine lymph system. This is the equine lymphatic system, and there's got 4 highways here. Any one of these highways that get impaired or damaged, or actually some of them many times are gone because of infection. They're just completely, infection will really completely destroy some of these lymph capillaries and the collectors, causes a backup. It will cause the lymph to back up into the extremity or where the blockage is. And that is what the flies are attracted to. Here we go. Equine lymph system. Every horse is susceptible to swollen limbs. Drafts are known for equine chronic progressive lymphedema, known as CPL. So let's take a look at this. We have here the superficial vessels of the lymphatic system right in this photo. Where do most of the flies really congregate? They congregate right around to the cannon bone and down by the fetlock. All along here by the hock as well, and up by the withers. You'll oftentimes see them by the nose or the eyes because of mucus. What is mucus? It's broken down organic matter. You'll also see a lot of it underneath the sheet because it's very warm, it's very moist, and when they're sweating, that's organic broken down matter that they can eat. That's why they're attracted there. So all you have to do is look. The equine leg is problematic. Why? Because it actually has like a shape of an hourglass here. And the hoof wall, as you know, doesn't move very well. So when you have 5 lanes of traffic going into 3, you're going to have a backup. So most of the swelling that you're going to see and where the flies are right in this area. Why? Because the superficial vessels are here. And if they have lymphatic congestion, this is where they're going to congregate. So what is lymph? Lymph is toxic waste. It is viruses, bacteria, parasites, dead cells, you name it, foreign matters, all kinds of things. It is broken down and it's the fly's favorite food. So when you look at a horse, look where the flies are congregating. It's going to tell you that is where they have lymphatic congestion. Okay, so here's a take home. Some helpful hints to minimize flies. Of course, keep a clean barn to discourage them. Wash a horse's leg when they come in from the field. A lot of people don't. Dirt and mud carry bacteria and cause infection, and flies like to lay their eggs in it. Don't give them an excuse to go to attack your horse and have a free buffet. We use food-grade diatomaceous earth. We put it in our stores, on our manure piles, as well as on our garden to keep the bugs and the flies down. Flies dislike the smell of cinnamon, lemongrass, and eucalyptus. Just be mindful if you've got birds nesting in there to make sure that some of these essential oils, some of these fragrances are not offensive to them. They can actually hurt them. So also you may want to consider some herbal supplements like garlic. Some people chew the garlic, raw garlic, and that is because the garlic's going to give off an odor that is offensive to the flies and discourage them. And this also goes for us as well. Don't forget when we're eating a lot of carbohydrates or you're at an event, be cautious or be aware of what you're eating and drinking. If you're sitting there saying, oh, the flies just love me, you may have lymphatic congestion yourself. So just be aware that high contents of sugar, whether it's a Pepsi, Coke, I don't care what it is, Arizona iced tea, you're looking at something, or sweet tea, you're looking at 25 to 30 grams of sugar or more in these beverages. And that's going to attract the flies because you're going to end up in an acidic state, and that is exactly what the flies want. So if they're bothering you, take a look at your diet. You may have to clean it up a little bit to discourage those flies, or maybe choose some garlic. Here is a photo. Here is a photo of where the flies congregate. I'm not talking one or two here or there. There's always going to be one or two flies around a horse, okay? But this is where it's congregating. What they're telling me here is got lymphatic congestion in the withers up over here. Actually, where the saddle is, there's a lot of congestion going on here for this horse. So what you want to look at is where are the large numbers of flies congregating. That is where you're going to see the lymphatic congestion. This was actually taking in Wyoming. We were doing an MLD class up there a couple of years ago, and it's just not enough to identify lymphatic congestion. We have to move it. All right, so here's a before picture. Obviously, this horse was having some, lymphatic congestion down in the abdomen area. After we did MLD, you got one fly here. It was amazing. You're talking about a matter of 30 minutes. So you can clear it out. So this is important that we know how to move it. Now we know how to recognize it. The next step is how do we move it? And that's what we're going to get into in the next slide. All right, how do I address this invisible congestion? Well, you need knowledge. The first thing you do is say connective tissue, because that's going to explain more detail what's going on in the connective tissue and all the metabolic things that are taking place and why the flies are attracted to it. The second thing is lymphatic. You're going to take the grooming technique. This is the middle photo here. That's a wonderful technique to learn. You can certainly help move that lymphatic, and of course then we have manual lymph drainage. But the grooming technique and the manual lymph drainage are the two keys to keep it moving. This program is really geared for equine practitioners. We also, if you're on the call and you're a horse owner, you are more than welcome to contact me at info@healequine.com, and I can, we'll give you a package deal to do the connective tissue and the grooming technique. It's very simple. Children can do it. It's an easy, very effective way to help manage flies and lymphatic congestion. I would encourage anyone who's an equine, practitioner to roll in today to become an equine lymphatic therapist. You can go to healequine.com/lymphatic-curriculum and go to our website, www.healequine.com, and get a jump start on the fly season. It's here. Here's an ancient Chinese proverb. When someone shares something of value with you and you benefit from it, you have a moral and obligation to share it with others. So please pass it on, what you learned and where you learned it. Facebook.com/HealEquine, Instagram/HealEquine. And thank you, and dare to make a difference. Why? Because we can in 2024. Believe in the possible.